different way to be. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Again, I think it's a personal journey, and if you step too far into an area that's too uncomfortable, then you step back and say, I'm not ready for that one yet. That's a little bit too much. This all has to be done in a gentle way, though. It has to be done. I'm not suggesting that people take carte blanche to be any way they want to be. Well, what happens if I'm rude and obnoxious and I tell everybody what I think? What if I told the truth all the time? 100% of the truth. That's not what I'm suggesting, because that's like stirring up a hornet's nest. That's like causing problems. I'm not suggesting those kind of things. I'm not saying, just do what you want, be the way you want to be, and who cares about anything else? That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that we attune ourselves to what's going on around us, to see the little mini openings. It's kind of like if you were confronted with a giant 50-foot tall, dense hedge, and you were walking along the hedge, and if you noticed, there would be an opening in it. But because as you were walking up to the opening, you wouldn't see it because it's all leaves until you're right in front of it. And if you weren't noticing, you wouldn't see that. Those are the kind of things I'm saying. It's like, oh, look, something is asking me to do this, or something is telling me to do this, or I remember what someone said a couple days ago. It's the noticing, and that ties right back into, what I try and convey in all of these talks. And we use this sophisticated word called mindfulness. But it's simply just noticing the opportunities to be and do things a little differently and see how they are. I mean, imagine if you saw that opening in the hedge and you walked down that opening and it took you to some amazing place. You could have just walked right by it and never known. A lot of the old stories and the archetype myths and stuff were about these very kind of things, about doing things differently or doing something that you wouldn't normally do, and then some adventure comes out of that, and then something good comes out of it in the end. Everything is telling us to do these kind of things, from scripture to wisdom books to mythology to family stories. Honestly, it's all asking us to be a little more than what we were the day before. And we can just approach it that way. We can approach it as this mini building blocks that are going to sort of build a new path for us as we continue on in this journey. I find it exciting in a funny way, and of course there'll always be the people that will say, well, why would you do that? Why would you bother? I've spent my entire life building a way that works. It may not work great, but it works well enough. I don't feel like changing anymore. I've been through all that. I'm tired with all that. I just want to, I don't want to do anything anymore. Well, I don't know. I don't look at life that way. This life is precious. And many people get tired of life, but honestly, it's kind of a selfish thing in my mind for someone to think that they're tired with life, because our being here, especially if your philosophical ideas lead you to believe that this is your only life, well, wouldn't you want to do as much as you possibly can in this one life you have, and experience what those things might bring you before this no longer is available? And if you believe that you move into other things, or you come back, or there's reincarnation or rebirth, if you believe those kind of things, don't you want to keep progressing so that the next time life is a little better, a little easier, a little, the growth continues? And if you believe that from here you go to some place like heaven, don't you want to go there being the best person you possibly can? No, really. I mean, it works, and it doesn't matter what you believe. To me, the answer is the same as, yeah, I want to do as much as I can now before whatever happens, even if it's nothing. Even if my friend the atheist is right, and there's nothing beyond this life. Well, what better way to spend the time while we're here to become more than what we are? You know, to me, it isn't a slowing down to the end of our life. It should be an acceleration to a glorious end, you know? And all it takes is a little bit of questioning, and all it takes is a little bit of playing, and a little bit of openness to see what life will bring. I think as soon as you open that door, that we'll just call openness, as soon as that opens up, you'll find many little things coming to you that will be worth playing with and will bring you bring you joy and bring you a fascination with things. I mean, when I saw that book, when I saw that book in the bookstore, my immediate response was fascination. It's like, wow, look at that, there's that book. I was flooded with this great feeling. I can't explain what that feeling was, but it was just like this, oh wow, that's meaningful, that's something. And those are the kind of things I think we all look for in life, you know? Trying to find something that makes us more than what we are. And when we do that, it starts to influence those around us. It truly is the only way that we can change the world, is by changing ourselves. And then the world starts to change around us for the very fact that life starts to give us all these little opportunities. I don't know. Go out and play. All right. Thank you.